feels like there's a bit of an issue in Islam with regards to the Holy Scriptures. And I'm going to try to recite a couple of them. Bear in mind, I'm probably going to butcher the recitation a little bit, but you can look it up afterwards or during if you want to try some sort of sword drill. So, you have Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 25. I believe this one says something to the effect that Allah wants all to come to peace, and He will guide those who He will, right? Or whom He will. I believe it's maybe in reference to heaven, that Allah wants all to come to heaven, or something like that. Kind of a nice verse in a fluffy sort of way, but a good verse in the Quran, you could argue. Certainly in favor of peace, right? You have Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 32. I believe this was, they were talking about saying this to the Jews, perhaps, I think. But the idea was that if a man kills another man, bear in mind there was a caveat here that it wasn't for the sake of punishment or vengeance, but if a man kills another man, it's as if he's killed the entire world. If a man saves another man, it's as if he's saved the entire world. Another thing to keep in mind is that I believe this might have been either a quotation or possibly a plagiarism from the Talmud, which was written, I believe, in like the 5th century, and Muhammad didn't come around until the 7th century. But you could argue a good verse in the Quran, regardless, right? That's not where it ends, though, unfortunately. You have verses like Surah Al-Bayyinah, chapter 98, verse 6. Those of the book who disbelieve and the polytheists will burn in hell. They are the worst of creatures. Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people, or perhaps folk, depending on the translation. I think that's the essence of what it said there, right? Not a great verse, right? Not a great verse. You have verses like Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 51. Take neither the Jews nor the Christians as friends or guardians, maybe depending on the translation, for they are friends of one another. If you do so, you are one of them. Again, I think that's kind of the essence of what it says. Probably not going to do these recitations perfectly. Again, not a great verse. So you're maybe seeing a little bit of the issue here. It's not that the Quran doesn't say good things. It does say good things. The problem is that it also says really, really bad things as well. It's kind of like if you catch a gossip in their trade, and they say their defense is, well, ask so and so. I've said good things about you. Remember that time when I said such and such about this guy? Right? Tell him. The problem is not that you've said good things. The problem is that you also say really bad things behind their back, and there's this type of duplicity. It feels like with the Quran. I think it was in part facilitated by the manner in which it was revealed. It wasn't written down when it was revealed. It was recited to different people at different times, in different contexts. And I think this type of decentralized revelation, the fact that it wasn't written down until later, perhaps allowed for this to happen to some extent. It feels like there's a phrase that kind of describes Islam. A little bit of everything all the time. What? Come at me, Burnham. But that phrase kind of describes Islam, it feels like to a T. To the point where you can bring an objection about Islam to a Muslim, and they could point over at this verse over here that says, well, no, see, look at this verse. That's not what Islam is about. Clearly, look at this verse, and it says that that is not what Islam is about. But there's this other verse over here that is completely counterintuitive to that verse, and says that that is what Islam is about, and it allows for them to espouse that view within their religion as well. It feels like the whole religion, it's not conducive to debate, because, again, there is this type of duplicity where it can say this over here, but it can say this completely different thing over here, and Anyways, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to.